What is going on, Degenerate Nation? Ken and Kim here, bringing you another Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast this week for the RBC Canadian Open. As usual, I am here with everybody's favorite South African, Byron Lindeque. Byron, what is up, my friend?
Kenny, I think we're going to have to do the pod with our glasses on today. It's looking like we're going to have to squint at each other. It sounds like you've got some really, you've seen the light. It sounds like.
Yeah. Before we move on, our show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Make sure to use promo code Mayo. Get yourself a $250 deposit match, or up to $250 deposit match. Go over there, do your thing. We came out. I had like a push win last week, where 2-1 and 1 pushed, and we still got paid out 3-1. Not bad. There wasn't the 7-1 we liked, but wasn't horrible. That was a nice little win. Hit the first round leader with Riley each way. He was in second place. So I hit that. Didn't hit an each way or an outright for the first time in 10 weeks, but I'm counting that Riley each way as part of the streak. The streak is going. Yeah. It's still on. It's still on 10 weeks. We're looking at 14 each ways and 4 outrights in the last 10 weeks. So we're going to keep on going, try to move on. Now, for me, the weekend was sort of wild. Didn't watch much golf. I actually, why don't you go ahead and talk about a little bit about the golf before I go into my story there, Byron? What did you think about the weekend? How'd you do?
I did great. The betting side of things has worked out really well for me.
Oh, yeah, you crushed it.
Oh,
yeah, you crushed it.
I rattled off all those bets. 7 of the 10 of them won, at really nice odds. So that was good. It didn't seem like I was just rattling off. That's how I bet, is these volume-based bets. It's like Plants versus Zombies. The zombies just got to get through somehow. Just got to get your guy to the end base somehow. So this has been working out for me well. It worked out wonderfully last week. Another loss in the outright market. I've hit 1 winner this year. But you know what, Kenny? 1 or 2 more good weeks, and I'm profitable for the year despite only having hit 1 outright winner, including all my bets. So we're looking good. It was a good week. Davis Riley shows up out of nowhere and wins the golf tournament looking like he's prime Scotty Scheffler. And the guy's best finish so far has been a T12 or T14 in the last 25 starts.
That's great. I liked him. We talked about him last week. Yeah. I talked about him last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just because of the runner-up that we saw there, and you're paying like 50-something hundred for him, right? He was in the 5,000 range, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, I mean, you find a little bit of glimmer of hope for a guy in the 5,000 range, you pull the trigger, right? I mean, it's just, even the top 20 for the guy would have been great for that $5,400 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or if you're betting him, which I felt horrible because I bet the first round leader and didn't bet the outright. You go on an outright with the each way, you throw that in there too. I mean, I think it's just worth it when you see something down there. And I got a couple of those this week as well. Anything else I saw that you want to talk about?
Scotty, I think, just ran out of juice on Sunday. I mean, the guy, just hitting his ball into the trees, and, it's just not his thing. So Davis got lucky. I think Xander and Davis both got a little lucky that Scotty just didn't have his A game, right? Like, I think Scotty lost across the board pretty much in round 4, in the different stroke gain departments there.
Tough. Yeah. It was tough, round 4. There weren't that many people that played under par.
Yeah.
I mean, Riley's even par was really solid.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But that's the conditions that Scotty typically dominates in, when you ramp up that all Madden difficulty, that's when Scotty is all pro Michael Vick, elite Michael Vick. By the way, what I've been doing, Kenny, how I subsidize my outright betting card is just bet Scotty Scheffler to pay for that. So I bet Scotty Scheffler top 10 at minus 280 to win my $10 back. My entire betting card got taken care of. Just because of Scotty, then all the other bets are gravy, essentially, because this is the world we live in. And Scotty's been just crushing in that market. So I'll keep going back to that negative market for Scotty Scheffler and loading up on it. It's awesome.
How much do you get on a $10 bet for minus 280? What is that?
I never bet $28 to win your 10 back.
Okay, so you got 28 to win 10 back?
Yes.
Okay.
That's how I've been doing it, because I bet $10 total for the outrights. Mm-hmm. So then when Scotty either wins or top 10s, you've covered your outright card, so that's just how I'm doing it now. And until the odds are too bad, but even, south of whatever they are, we'll see how they go. But Scotty, top 10, baby, let's go. Oh, and Tom Hoagie as well. Tom Hoagie's got 8 top 20s in 16 starts this year. Tom freaking Hoagie. But doesn't have a single top 5.
Dude, I suck at matchup. I don't think I've ever had positional bets. I think I won like 1 in like the last 2 years. I'm just horrible.
Stay in your lane, baby. Stay in your goddamn lane.
I never want to go low. I'm like, I want to get like the bigger numbers. That's just the way I think. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to find these like, diamonds in the rough that can get me like a plus 280 on a top 20 or something like that, and then they never hit.
Maybe we're going to have to get you to do like a bet where you're going to have to go into the negative world and find a negative 110 bet.
I just
what's Kenny's negative Nancy bet week? Let's see what he can do.
It's probably smarter because obviously those hit more often, right? So, it just seems like that's why the number's what it is.
Yeah,
because it's more likely it's going to hit, right?
And they walk around with their big balls around like this and they're like, I just bet plus money bets. That's all I do. I'm trying to break that mold. Like, it's okay. Like, break that stigma. It's okay to bet negative odds. We can do this.
Yeah. I like it because you do stuff for a while and you get in your one mind frame, and that's a negative thing. You got to be able to adjust, like I said earlier. Yes. Like Bruce Lee said, be like water. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing when it comes to DFS lineups, depending on the course. When it comes to betting, how you promote your betting card depending on the strength of the field. If you keep doing the same things over and over again, every week is different. You got to be able to adjust how you go about your betting process, your DFS process on a week-to-week basis. Now, of course, it wasn't like the most happiest of weekends. We did have a tragedy with Grayson Murray. We're not going to talk about that this week. We have a sponsor that seems like it might sort of mess with a little bit there, so we're just going to go ahead and skip that topic for this week. But rest in peace. Hopefully, condolences to his family and all his friends and all that stuff. But let's move on. Let's talk about something I'm not really happy, but a little bit more funnier. So my weekend, this past weekend.
This makes me happy, Kenny. Like listening to this, just seeing the photos and stuff. I'm so excited to hear the story.
Well, it wasn't that big of a deal. So I basically went on a huge bender. This past weekend, starting on like Friday night, just started drinking, stayed up most of the night, slept a little bit. Saturday, I went out to the opera with a buddy of mine, and we went to go see it. It was Turandot, which is Puccini for all non-opera people. If you ever want to go see an opera, Puccini is like the easiest one to get started with, like La Boheme or Turandot. Those are like the ones you want to like start with. If you ever see those in your area and you're interested in going to see a show, those are the best ones because Puccini tells a story very, very well. You don't really need to know too much background going into it. Like a lot of operas, you got to read like what the story is, or you have no fucking clue what's going on when you listen to it. So, but Puccini's easier. Since Turandot, basically about this crazy bitch queen who one of her fucking sisters dies, and she's like bitter and the Karen of a fucking Peking underworld. She fucking hates life, and so fucking this dude comes in. He finally meets his father. They were in like a battle. He lost his father. Found his father with his chick, right? And the chick helped her out. And the reason he helped her is because she fucked with the dude, the son, right? The son smiled at her one time, right? And she's like, oh, I'm in love. And so she took care of his dad. And so, they go to this one place and they into one city. No one knows who they are. They're killing this guy. They're like, why are they killing this dude? Because, you have to answer these 3 riddles to marry this bitch ass queen, right? But if you get them wrong, you die. And the queen's hot, right? And so this guy, the Prince of Persia, wants to get his head cut off. It's one of the first scenes. And then he's like, damn, this bitch is fine. The fucking, the dude. And the main character. And so he's going to answer the riddles. The dad's like, man, what the fuck? We just met up again. How are you going to die right now? He's like, no, fuck this. This bitch is hot. I'm going to bang it. I'm going to answer these fucking questions. And so he answers the question. He gets them right. And the typical Karen queen reneges, and says, no, fuck that. And it's a great show. It's a great show. I don't know why I just went into the whole synopsis. I think we should do that every time. Sometimes Kenny Kim's opera synopsis in 90 seconds. About
culture with Kenny.
Culture with Kenny. But anyways, so we went to Joe's Seafood Prime, got the fucking whale, $200 seafood tower, a whole bunch of other shit. Really, really good meal. Go to the opera. Amazing show. Kenny Center is always great. Come back and, we meet up with a whole bunch of friends and we just start drinking heavily until 3 o'clock yesterday morning. So like 35 hours, right? Just getting hammered, right? And so last night I take off my glasses because my eyes sort of hurt. I take off my glasses and like you can see, I'm not wearing them right now. And I was able to see better. Like I've been wearing glasses since I was like 10 years old, right? So I'm on like a 3-day bender, right? And so I'm like, okay, this is just something's wrong. This is not really happening. And so I woke up this morning. Actually, I woke up like an hour and a half ago. It's like 6 o'clock. I woke up an hour and a half ago, and I woke up and I could see, like I could sit on my TV and I could read the closed captioning on the bottom without my glasses, which is something I had never been able to do. So I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Like it's very strange. Like I can see right now. I can read my antivirus protection has expired on the bottom right of my laptop right now. Like there's no way I could read that last week. Like, so I don't know what's going on. If you guys know of any doctors out there, I'm going to see my doctor on Friday and I'll tell him about this. It could just be a passing thing. I don't know. But like, if you're a doctor or an optometrist, optometrist out there, leave a note on a comment. Is it normal for your vision to like improve after 3 days of no sleep and alcohol and all this other stuff? I don't know. It was wild. It was a fun weekend, but this shit was shocking because like it's weird. Like I can see.
Well, Kenny, you've been seeing the betting board. You've been seeing the underdog slips like 2020. You know, I think it's time now to just see the world the way you've been seeing the betting board.
I don't know, man. It's strange. It's very, very strange. All right. I am hungover as shit, so let's move this along. Before we move on, let's pay some bills. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. I personally like the Pick'em games. Pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. Can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. Pick between 2 and 5 players to build a Pick'em entry. Can also make rivals picks, which pits 2 players against each other. Now, the reason I like the Pick'em games is because of these things called scorchers. There's these little chili peppers next to the golfers' names, and if you click on that, it adds to your multiplier, so you can win even more money. Sign up today with promo code Mayo and get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant Pick'em special. Must be 18 or over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, so let's go ahead and do our underdog segment of the week. Like I said last week, mine did a partial hit, didn't pay out the full 7.3, but it paid out like 4-1 or something like that. So not bad, 3.5-1, not horrible. We got the push on one of them. So let's go ahead and do this week. Let's go ahead and start with the South African over here. Byron, what is your underdog pick'em card of the week?
All right, so I've got just a bunch of lowers for scores. So I'm going to do Rory McIlroy, lower than 67.5 strokes. Par 70, wet golf course. I'm expecting Rory to dominate. He needs to get to -3 in round 1 for this to hit. Then I'm going to do Corey Connors, 68.5, lower. So basically -2 for him to hit. And then Shane Lowry, same situation as Corey, 68.5, lower to get to a 4.67 return on my 3 guys to shoot. Basically -3 for Rory and -2 for Corey and Shane.
All right, that sounds good. Just a little hint, when you play these pick'ems, if you use the same category for each golfer, your odds are lower. You don't get the boost as much. So when you use separate categories for each 3, that's how you get like the 7s and the 8s in the 3-person pick'ems. Now, I don't do that because I can't find stuff. I mean, if I can find it, then yeah. But I mean, it's not as easy because, you know, I sort of look for certain things when it comes for the underdog. But that is a way to juice up the multiplier. So, but mine this week is going to be birdies and bogeys. So Rory, I'm going higher than 4.5 birdies. He runs this course. He runs the Canadian Open. It's his shit. I don't think there's much more to explain there. And I'm going with 3 guys here. I'll be honest, I did like 35 minutes of research today. Usually I do a little bit more, but I literally woke up like an hour ago. So just bear with me here. But the thing is, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like a lot of the times, it just makes it so you just do your first instinct and you don't have time to like dig in and overthink and stuff like that. I just went with the first shit that I saw that caught my eye. Bam, bam, bam. So, Rory McIlroy, higher than 4.5 birdies or better. Tommy Fleetwood, lower than 2.5 bogeys or worse. Alex Noren, higher than 3.5 birdies or better. 2 of those are my cash game cornerstones. We'll go over that here in a little bit. All 4 made the cut last week in a week where 66 was poor. And that pays about 4.6 times for that. So make sure you go and check that out. And then make sure you go to Underdog, do your thing, get on that, make some money with us because we're making money on that site. Let's move on to our betting segment, the unnamed betting segment of the week. We're going to go ahead and Byron crushed last week. We're going to give him the honors because we are a golf podcast.
Let's go, baby. So for the outright side of things, I don't really have too many outrights this week. I started with, I knew I was going to bet Sahith. Found a 22 out there. There's 20 still. I would still bet the 20s. On my research show last night, I was saying I would bet Sahith at 20-1. If that was the case, it is the case. I would set the number probably 14 or 12 for Sahith, in all honesty, in this kind of a field. So 20-1, 22-1 is delightful. And then Nick Taylor at 70-1. I think I'm looking for putters this week. That's what I'm looking for. I want guys that can make putts, and Nick Taylor and Sahith Theegala can make putts. We've seen them do this.
If Nick Taylor goes back-to-back, he's going to be like the god of Canada.
He's going to become the king of Canada. Like he will just go and punt the king or the queen out of the throne right now. Yeah, Parliament will not be like it's just going to become a dictatorship. A dictatorship is what it's going to become. Country. Yes, so it's
going to be vice president.
Yes, yeah, that would be awesome with Corey Connors as like the treasurer because he's an actuarial accountant, by the way. But yeah, so that's where I'll be going. Yeah, Corey's the actuarial. He's very smart. So I'm kind of really leaning into these Canadians this week. I might just go Sahith and just go the 4 Canadians, the 4 big boys. I don't know where I'm going, Kenny. I've got Nick Taylor. I've got tons of space left for the rest of the guys. So I'm curious to see where you've gone in the outright market.
All right. Once again, 15 minutes of research, but my first initial thoughts, that's how it's been going, usually. That's how I talked about this last week in the betting processes that I've been doing. And it's literally been working. I mean, last week wasn't great. It was the worst week. And it hurt because I think Hayden Buckley made a birdie on 17 that bumped Sungjae to 9th and missed the each way. And that was an each way I posted. That was a bet I posted on X. Not here, not on the Golf's Corner. So make sure you follow me on X at KendoVT. But my outright card for this week, it's going to be, I'm going to start off with Alex Noren. I think the dude's going to win at some point in time. He's just playing too well. Yeah. I know he's saying that he's not a winner. He can't win. Well, we saw what happened with Xander in that situation. This guy, I know it's a little bit different. Because Xander's actually won before, and it was just majors for Xander. But it's small steps, baby steps, right? And so give me Noren. I got him at 22-1, which is disgusting, but whatever. Because I had to take the 8 places. So I took the 8 places. I'm not dumb because he doesn't win that often, ever. So I'm going to take the 8 places for Noren, 22-1. Next, it's going to be, I'm trying to go in order here, but I can see better, but I'm not thinking clearly. Mac Hughes, 35-1. Again, short game strong. He finished top 20 here last time he played. Give me a little bit of Mac Hughes. In 8 places, 35-1. Then we're going to go Svenny. Little Adam Svensson with the more Canada love. 66-1, 8 places. Ball striking has been off the charts in his last 12 rounds. He's been looking really, really strong. I thought I had more than this. I guess I don't. Mac Meisner, 90-1, 8 places each way. The guy's been playing some sneaky-ass golf, good golf here. I mean, I didn't even know Mac the Knife Meisner, who he was, before last week. And he had a nice little finish last week. I guess I was late to the party because I was looking over some stuff from last week, the people that wrote, and he was popular last week, and I'm pushing it this week. But, it's usually not a good thing, but I am. I'm going to go ahead and push him this week. 90 to 1, 8 places. And Gary Woodland, 110 to 1. 110 to 1. He was in the top 15 going into last week's final round. His game is improving. And the thing is, like, when you go through a slump or sometimes an injury like Woodland has, I think the last thing that comes is Sundays, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the most pressure packed. That's when you really earn your paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And he struggled on Sunday. But a lot of people did. So I'm not going to look over that too much. I like Gary. I think he's going to have a week or two this year where he surprises. I think his game's getting better. So give me Gary at 110. And Hayden Buckley, the guy who fucked me last week. That sort of rhymed a little bit. He'd be a rapper. 225 to 1, 8 places. Again, another strong finish last week. I'm just going to ride the momentum. Again, sort of like the Riley thing. You see a small thing, a small glimpse of hope from somebody at these type of odds. You just go ahead and take the risk. Throw your $10 on there and do your thing. So that is my betting card. We'll go over it all again. 20 to 1, Alex Noren. 35 to 1, Mackenzie Hughes. 66 to 1, Adam Svensson. 90 to 1, Mac the Knife Meisner. 110 to 1, Gary Woodland. 225, Hayden Buckley. All 8 places. Now, I know you're going to do your placement bets here. Why don't you go ahead and go over those there, Byron?
All right, baby. Let's figure this out because I've got those Canadians, like I was saying earlier, I've got them rattled off in placement markets here. So I've got Sahith covering, he's outright at plus 400 for a top 5. So these are all top 5 bets till we get to Tommy for a top 10. So Sahith plus 400 for a top 10. A top 5. He's been crushing that market. He's actually had so many of these top 5s this year that it's been profitable for me betting him in that world. So I'll be going back there, especially if you have an outright on him. Nick Taylor as well, plus 900 for a top 5. He's always popping, like he's one of these volatile golfers. He'll show up, he won't, he's rattling off top 5s at a 10% clip, plus 900 seems fine. Again, Mackenzie Hughes and Adam Hadwin, both top 5s plus 750. These two dudes, especially Adam Hadwin, he shows up in the top 5s quite a lot. I have a feeling, Kenny, that one of the 4 Canadians, Nick Taylor, Adam Hadwin, Mackenzie Hughes, and Taylor Pendrith, are really going to show up this week. Corey Connors, he's the main guy, and he's the shortest odds dude. Corey Connors doesn't have a top 5 this year. He's, where's the
makes cuts.
He just makes cuts. And he's...
Hey, you're missing one of my favorite Canadians with the cheapness is Svenny.
Svenny, exactly.
Yeah, Svenny down there. Ball striking is real strong by Svensson. One of my favorite plays down in that 7K range. I do like him a lot. There's one Korean play that I really, really like in the 6K, and I forgot to bet him. I'm adding him right now. So keep going while I remember why I didn't bet him before.
Glad we got that figured out there because Taylor Pendrith has been finishing inside the top 10, 1 in every 4 starts. And he's plus 425. So there's a nice little edge there for a top 10. And then Tommy Fleetwood is basically finishing inside the top 10 every other start, and we're getting him plus 200 for a top 10. 44% top 10 rate for Tommy Fleetwood. He's top 10 in my model, plus 200 for Tommy Fleetwood to finish inside the top 10 at a golf course that you got to drive it straight and just kind of keep making those putts. And Tommy does both of those really well. We'll go to him. And then I got some top 20s for you guys. Alex Noren, Kenny, this guy's been rattling off top 20s, I think, since the Cognizant. That's 9 straight starts. We've got nothing worse than a 24th place finish since the Cognizant for Alex Noren. It's been sensational golf the last little while. So love what he's been up to. 8 total strokes gained in the last little while. And then Seamus Power. Give me a short positional golf course. Seamus Power is the guy. If you take a look at what Seamus has been doing on approach the last little while, boy, oh boy, it's been good. We just need that putter to show up. So short positional golf course. We'll see what Seamus can do with the putter. I think, what have you got the greens as, Kenny? I'm playing them as Power this week. So
the Ben Power blend.
Yeah. So I don't know what that means, and I don't know how to apply that to a model. So I'm rolling with Power, and we'll see if the guys can figure this stuff out.
The thing about, I wouldn't roll with Power. I wouldn't. Because the thing about Power here is, Power usually, when you think about Power, it's the West Coast, bumpy, shit like that. That's not what this is. That is not. So it is not a West Coast Power.
So would you say it's more so
smoother? I would say it's a smoother.
Scottsdale?
I would say yes. Yes, it would be like Scottsdale. It's like that.
Where
It's
Nick
like
Taylor's
that type
dominated?
of Ben Poa. It's like that type of Ben Poa. Yes, with the new greens. Now, do you have more?
That's it. Those are my bets.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to our hear a word from our other sponsor while I look for this number because I can't find them on the board. So let's go ahead and go to commercial. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. Personally, for me, it's work. I'm an estimator. I have to win jobs so people don't get fired underneath me, right? And it definitely causes me stress on a daily basis. When we keep these things bottled up, it can start to affect us negative. Therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. For example, it's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who have experienced major traumas. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/fantasygolf today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/fantasygolf. And we're back, and I just found him. It's S.H. Kim. S.H. Kim, the reason I couldn't find him is because he's usually not this low odds. That's why it made me a second to actually bet the number. But I did. Got him 80-1, 8 places each way. I do like him with his short game. His ball striking has been decent here lately. He's top 5 in cuts made, so at least he has some security. You might have a chance at least. Sweat, and then watch him miss the cut this week. But let's move on and let's actually talk a little bit about the RBC Canadian Open. So the PGA Tour heads to Ancaster, Ontario for the RBC Canadian Open. This is the fourth time Hamilton Golf and Country Club has hosted a PGA event since 2003, and it's only the third time PGA golfers have played here since then. I just read that wrong. Whatever. It's hard for me to read. The thing is, I can see. I don't have to have my glasses to read this right now, and it's so weird. It is so weird. I don't know what the fuck is going on right now, but it's like bright, and I can see it, and it's like no blurriness. This is so strange. Anyways, all right. So the big changes since 2019 or 2012, what it changed for 2019 was they got rid of thousands of trees. The year Rory won, right? Then there was a huge course renovation again this time. What they did, they added about 150 yards in length, 170 yards in length. But the main difference this time is going to be new grass all over the place. Basically, exactly what we saw last week at Colonial. And we talked about that a lot at Colonial, where you get these new grass on these greens, right? And it's going to cause bumpier, more difficult type conditions. And we somewhat saw that last week. It was not an easy go. Now, the difference between Colonial was 25-mile-per-hour winds. This week, we're looking at 6. So that could play a little bit of difference. It's not going to be as difficult as we saw last week, but it will be a little bit firmer. The first two were very, very soft. And it's supposed to have a deluge of rain this whole week, and Ontario had a shit ton of rain in the last couple of months. So again, like last week, you're sort of in this unknowable type deal where you don't really know how good. I don't know how good their sub-air system is. I didn't even read that they put in a sub-air system in the greens. I know I read that at Colonial. I didn't see that anywhere when I was reading for this. They might have, and I just might have missed it. But it did change the grass. So again, if it's soft and the sub-air is not as good, you could see a birdie fest. But the thing is, even in 2019, when it was soft, Rory won at 21, but second was 15 under, right? So either way, even if this is a softer type course, it's not going to be there might be one or two guys that just dominate the course, but you're looking at 4-inch rough that you saw last time. And that really, changed the aspect of that course from 2012 when I think Scott Piercy won in 2012, 2 longer hitters, but in 2003, Jim Furyk won. So, it's a different type of blend for this course, right? It sort of brings everyone into play. The accurate guys who can hit a shit ton of fairways and be able to take nice approaches onto these greens, or the bomber out there, if everyone's missing these fairways, the bomber that goes out there, gets it close, and is able to cut through that grass with his strength with a wedge. So it's going to be multiple ways to go about this type of course. Now, the big thing is, like the last time they played, I remember the people who were superintendents that of the course spoke about the greens, and they were talking about when our greens and fairways get wet, they don't dry quickly. So in my eyes, like since they said that in 2019, I would expect them to have adjusted some of that with the sub air. Now, I just didn't see anything. So I can't guarantee it, but I would think it is. And that of course, will make a difference. Like we saw last week at Colonial, it was not as soft as it probably should have been with all the rain that they received. Now, let's get to the meat of the course. Hamilton Golf and Country Club, a little bit over 7,100 yards now. Par 70, 2 par 5s, 4 par 3s. The par 5s are the 2 easiest holes on the course. And most golfers should be able to reach in 2 as long as they avoid the rough off the tee. It's so crazy I can read this right now. Like, I'm going crazy. Like, this is so strange. The par 3s are long with 3 over 200 yards and the 4th at 188 yards. The longer par 4s, par 3s, all ranked in the top 5 hardest holes in 2012. Now, and they were the same in 2019. Even though the par 3s are long, most of the par 4s are short by tour standards. Only 1 is over 450 yards, and 3 are under 400 yards. And these are the par 4s that I'm talking about. Now, off the tee, golfers will see narrow fairways, some water, and a few bunkers. The main defense off the tee is the 4-inch rough. And I have, back then, before the event started, we heard rumors that it was going to be 4 inches. We weren't sure, but sure enough, there was some thick rough back then. So I would expect it to be the same. Now, most will hit less than driver on this course, but we saw Rory come out here and dominate, hitting driver more than the rest. I think that will play into a part of how people go and strategize this course. If you're a long off the tee, you'll probably follow Rory's track, right? But, you don't have to go that route to win this event. Because the funny thing is, only 3 golfers in 2019 that were in the top 10 finished inside the top 25 in driving distance for the week. Rory, Sungjae, and Danny Willett. All other 7 golfers did not finish. They were outside the top 45. I think Lowry was 47th, and he was the 4th highest that week when it comes to driving distance rank. So, you don't necessarily need it, but of course, Rory won. You could do it that way.
And Rory ranked 6th in accuracy.
Yeah. Nice. 6th in accuracy and 1st in distance, and he was like top 10 in scrambling. Yeah. Right? Basically, his all-around game, everyone's all-around game was like inside the top 20, the all-around stat. Like, you're going to use every aspect of this game. Like, one thing I did notice was a short game was pretty fucking important. Like, 7 of the 10 golfers that finished top 10 were inside the top, 35 in strokes around the green, and 5 of them were inside the top 20. The average green and regulation ranking in 2019 of the top 10 was 30th. It was around 30th. So you're not going to hit a bunch of greens, but you're going to need a short game. So it's a weird little complex that this course has. And I think what it's going to come down to is it just brings everybody into play. Now, these the greens. They actually added an average of 1,000 square foot to every single one of these greens during the remodel. They did that so they can put pin locations, so they can add different types of pin locations. So on approaches, green golfers will see a little bit larger greens than they saw last time. Heavily undulated, heavily sloped. They're going to need to hit their approaches in the front of the pin to avoid massive sloping downhill putts and chips. Okay, so maybe you are right about this. I'm going to have to double check this for my article because I haven't written it yet. Because in my 2019, I have the greens are Poa with a sprinkle of bait grass. So maybe you are correct. We will double check. I'll double check that. I'll post it on my social media, and it'll be on my article in Gup's Corner. Again, I was hungover. My bad, people. I apologize. So I should have known that beforehand. But yeah, so usually I would not write it that way if it wasn't more predominantly Hold on. I will figure it out. But it's going to be a stim meter rating of around 11. Byron, what are you looking for in golfers this week?
So, Kenny, the top 5 guys, 6 of them, all gained 1.5 strokes per round putting. I feel like that's a significant amount. And the crazy thing is, the top 10 of last year gained more strokes on approach than average.
Last year, 2019.
Sorry, 2019. 2019. In 2019, the top 10 in strokes gained was more than the top 5. So, like, the top 5 guys didn't dominate on approach. They were just putting lights out. So I'm looking for putters this week. If you got good approach game, that helps. But I'm definitely looking for guys that can hit fairways and hit putts. That's now, basically it for me.
You played, like, really competitive golf in the past. You played in college, right? So, like, on greens that are slopey, like super sloped, but they're not like Masters 13.5, 14 on the stimp. They're like 11, slower. Does that help shittier putters? Or does that bring more people together? Or does that make it so the best putters will have a better chance at that? Because these greens are very, very sloped. You're going to see a lot of 2, 3, 4 foot breaking type putts on these greens. Is that something that gives an advantage to the elite putters, the good putters? Or does that bring the shitty putters closer?
I think it's a bit of both, Kenny. I'm gonna cop out on that and
put
say
you on
the
spot.
Yeah,
put you on the spot.
I think you can argue.
We don't talk about these questions. My bad. We don't talk about. I don't tell him anything. So everything is on the spot. So I'm sorry.
Just think about it, Kenny. Like, if you're a really good putter and the greens are difficult, if you can read greens better than most people, you should be able to read the more difficult putts better and make those putts, right? But at the same time, if you suck at putting and then you get onto greens that are difficult to read, and you're still missing putts anyway, you can maybe see the suckier putters regress closer to a better
because people are missing because there's so much slope. Yeah, okay.
Maybe it's the suckier guys, the poorer putters that thrive will tend to maybe get a bit luckier. Like they misread the putt and it goes in somehow if there's enough slope. So We'll see. And also with bigger greens, a lot of slope, you got to be able to get your lag putting. Good putters are typically good lag putters. So you got to make sure that lag putting helps. And maybe that's why the approach numbers can be crap, because you can just hit it onto any random part of the green and then kind of just get your putt down.
The greens aren't necessarily big. They're just bigger. They were small before.
Yeah.
I would say now they're a nice medium size, closer to tour average, maybe a little bit above. Maybe you are right. Again, all over. Not enough research. We'll get it done though. All right. I think I've been doing all right for like an hour and a half.
Kenny, if you think your heat is going to end this week, I've got news for you, my friend. I don't know. I also want to ask you a question. Are you wearing contact lenses right now?
No.
Just confirm.
I don't own contact lenses.
Okay, so you never blacked out and put contacts in. Like you can confirm you don't have contact lenses in.
I've never worn contacts in my life, in my 40s, almost 44 years of life. I've never worn contacts.
If you see the light, just come back to us, please. Like,
don't go, right? It's weird.
Like, because you're seeing shit like now. Like, just saying.
It's very strange.
Okay.
Like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm glad I have a doctor's appointment on Friday. Because I'm like, Doc, like, well, how does this happen? Like, how does your vision improve now? I did read something. Of course, you're thinking the worst, right?
Yes.
So when this happened, like earlier today, I was like, okay, this can't be like a good thing. I just doesn't, like, something has to be fucked up for this shit to be happening right now. And so of course I read, and I'm pre-diabetic, right? And that's why I'm on this exercise kick. I have to try and lose the weight, take away the sugars. And like all I did this weekend was drink like sugar.
So
I was just drinking fucking Crown Royal like all fucking weekend. Like probably had like a handle like to my face in 3 days, right? And that's all sugar, so it's horrible. I've been good in the last like 3 weeks since we started this. I cheat a little bit, but I mean it's like 8% of the normal sugar intake with carbs and stuff that I've taken that I would normally eat prior to this diet. But it's just strange to me. Like, so what I read was
very weird.
Diabetes can, like, the way it like constricts and contracts like blood vessels, like that could actually temporarily make your vision better. And of course, it's probably something horrible like that. We'll see the doctor. We'll see what the fuck happens. If I die and they don't hear from me anymore, whatever this symptom is, just go to the doctor immediately, because I never heard this type of symptom before.
Yeah.
Your eyesight getting better.
We'll get you to the doctor, Kenny.
yeah, I'm going to the doctor. All right, so let's get to these tiers. We're going to start up in this 10K range. We got Rory all the way down to Mr. Shane Lowry. I'm going to go ahead and start this time because I have one thing that I'm going to do. Shane Lowry is going to be popular, right?
Yep.
Shane Lowry is going to be popular. He's going to be 10K, the fourth highest paid. No. Now, if I see him, the thing is, I think a lot of people are going to think like me. And his ownership might not be as much as we think. If he's like 12%, 10%, then maybe. But like if he's one of like the top 10 highest owned guys, fuck that. He never shows up when people are on him, ever. I mean, I don't care about the game. Like, yes, he's been hitting the ball good. Yes, he finished second here last time. But like when everyone's on him, he fucking sucks. No Shane Lowry, full fade. I don't care. No Shane Lowry. Rory, yes. Rory's my first cascade cornerstone. I'm just going to go ahead. He's not Scotty prices, and we still get to go down to the 5K, but the 5K is like the pits of despair. Like it's rough in that 5K this week. But 6K, there's some guys. So you can put a couple 6K guys in your cash line, which I normally would not do. But again, Bruce Lee, you like water. You got to adjust, move your shit, be able to change your strategies on a week-to-week basis. So I'm going to go ahead, start with Rory. What else can you say? I thought about betting him, but then I saw Scheffler numbers, and I was like, no. I can't do plus 375 for Rory. I'm sorry. 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, I would have thought about it.
Maybe, yeah.
Right? I would have thought about it. I mean, I hit him 9-1 at Wells Fargo, and people were like, why are you betting the favorite? Because I want to fucking win. I want to win. That's the whole point of gambling. Why do people ask questions like that? It's so fucking stupid. Like, why do you bet the favorite? Because I want to win. That is like I bet the favorite every fucking week. I just saw it that week. I was like, Rory's going to win.
Yeah.
So I bet him.
Pick your spot, baby.
Yeah. Right?
Yes.
And so I like Rory. I want to go ahead and play Rory. Sahith, I'm not sure about. I know you like him. I think I'd rather play. I know this is crazy. I think we're going to see Tommy. I'm not going to bet Tommy, but I think we're going to see Tommy or Nora in contention this week. Now, can they finally get over the hump? I don't know. But I think one of those two guys is going to be in contention Sunday, and it's going to be for their first PGA Tour victory. And I just have a feeling about those two. So I like Tommy. Who are you going with this range?
Which side of minus 15 does this week's tournament fall on, Kenny?
I'm thinking it's going to be. I'm thinking the winner might be more, but I think top 5
minus 17.
Less. Yeah, I think top 5 might be less.
Because if you're looking to bet Alex Noren and Tommy Fleetwood, you got to feel like this tournament.
It's not a huge birdie fest,
minus 12,
and I don't think
13.
it will be. I don't think it's going to be a humongous birdie fest.
Yeah,
I think I mean, even in 2012, I mean, it was even easier conditions, like softer than 2019, and Scott Piercy won at 17 under.
Yeah, so I don't know, and that's why if I'm looking at strokes gained putting this year, the first person that shows up inside the top 10 is Sahith Theegala. Then you've got to go all the way to Mackenzie Hughes, who's $8,300 to find another top 10 strokes gained putter.
Yeah.
This is the funny part, right? So this is a weird week. We mentioned how top heavy the top of the board was strokes gained putting. It is only one tournament, but it's the only tournament we really have to go off of. So maybe overreact to that, maybe don't. If you're playing DFS, load up on the putters, load up on the accuracy guys. It's going to make you different because typically good putters are not typically good golfers. But if you can find an elite golfer that's a good putter.
It's also going to make you different because everyone see that Rory dominated in 2019. And the first thing they're going to think of is just pound it out there. And Rory did more than others, but this isn't like driver every hole, right? This is like if you're gonna hit driver on this hole, it's going to be, and you're going to go more than the field. It's like 6 or 7 around, right?
Yeah,
that's going to be. But I mean, for the elite drivers of the golf ball, those extra 3 drives for 4 rounds for 12 holes, that's almost a hole. That's like 2/3 of a round more than everyone else that's, going to be you hitting their drives. So say an average golfer uses 4 or 5, say the aggressive uses 7 or 8. I mean, that's a big difference when it comes to all 4 rounds. Now, again, like I said, I don't think that you have to do that. I think the majority of people will not be doing that, just because of how tight the fairways are, and how short-ish the course is. I mean, it's grown a little bit. I mean, it's really short. It was under 7,000 yards in 2019. Now we're looking a little bit over 7,100 yards. But you can definitely go about this a wide variety of ways. There's not like especially since you don't play this course every year either. There's just not enough numbers to back.
That's the thing.
There's not enough numbers. I'm basing stuff on what I saw in 1 year. I mean, that can all fucking change, right? So
after a redesign, wet redesign, it's a completely different golf course, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Keep going. Who else do you like?
So obviously, Sahith, the reason Tommy and Shane aren't going to show up for me, easy scoring conditions, 86th and 61st in strokes gained on those kind of courses. I'm expecting this course to play easy. It's just the way the PGA Tour, you've said it, Kenny, these random courses, they're going to just set up easier. It's just what they've been doing this year.
The 4-inch rough is going to be the catalyst, though. Because
that's the only thing.
These fairways are not easy to hit. Yeah, it's the main defense.
Right.
So if guys are out there, if you're doing what Rory did, and you're first in driving distance and 6th in driving accuracy,
it's a cakewalk.
That's what's going to go crazy. But that's like, how often do you see a guy in the top 10 in both of those categories in the same week, right? Now, the thing is, there's only a few handful of guys in the world that could probably do that. That makes it easier to pick and choose. But, you don't have to go in that route. Go ahead to this 9K range.
Yeah, so I think Alex Noren is just for a 9K option. He's going to be very popular. I'm assuming he's probably a cash game cornerstone maybe for you. This is the thing. I bet him top 20. I think if you want to if you don't want to play Alex Noren, hammer the top 20 bet. He's likely going to cash that for you and hope that he finishes like T19 and his ownership is high and the T19 doesn't get him across the line. If not, go to Alex Noren. I think he's a great option this week for sure. Another guy that I'll be going to is Sam Burns. I like his price tag at $9,400. I like the fact that he's a very good putter. This is the thing with Sam Burns is we've seen him suck it up in majors, in big tournaments. It's Rory McIlroy. That's the only big name really in this field this week. So if Rory sucks it up, I can see Sam Burns taking care of business quite nicely on these kind of surfaces. And then I think Maverick McNeely at $9,200, another very good putter. I mean, I'm just rattling off putters that have just been dialing it in this week. So this year, and that's where I'm going to be going, is to these putters for some reason. So Corey Connors will not be on my card.
Yeah, I never play Maverick McNeely.
Yeah.
He might be my favorite play this week.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, and you never see him with this, you rarely see him with this price. But I just like the way his game looks. He's long enough off the tee, really good on par 4s. Of course,
if these are power greens.
Well, the thing is, he's one of the guys that can be accurate and long, like Rory, right? He's top 10 in strokes gained off the tee, and he's like 40th in driving distance in this field. Yeah. So, I mean, he has that nice little Rory type combo that can, and he can putt. I mean, yes. I should have thought about it. Now, I can't bet the number that he's at. I think he's like 20 something. I'm just not going to do that.
No,
but
DFS.
But for DK, I like him a lot. Is he going to be popular? Is Byron Lindeque ever popular? Like, do you see him getting above 15%?
I don't know if around Adam Scott, Aaron Rye, Keith Mitchell, all cheaper. Tom Kim cheaper than Adam Hadwin, Mackenzie Hughes. Those are all cheaper options than Maverick. So I think you could see.
Yeah,
I think it'll be fair.
Guy, but
it'll be average.
Yeah. I don't know. I like him this week a lot. It'll probably be like one of my highest owned golfers this weekend, which is crazy. So it could be a fucking horrible week. We'll fucking see. You know what? Speaking of, I didn't even mention last week in DraftKings that I had a lineup finish in the top 20 in the $5 drive to green. So that's a 72,000 entry tournament. I was in like 7th like going into the back nine. And I thought I had a shot at like the 50K. I ended up dropping a little bit because of the Scheffler birdie on 17 and the Morikawa miss on 18. If Scheffler misses that, Morikawa makes, I'm like sixth, and it win like $5,000. And it would have been so. I won like $800 or some shit like that, which is great. I mean, it covered the week because even though my 4 cash game cornerstones all made the cut, my other 2 didn't. So I did not. I was on the bubble on cash. I missed out by like 6 points. So that sucked. But I made 100% return on investment just through my GPPs. All right. Nice. So I totally forgot about that. 9K range. Well, 9K range. Norris is my second cash game cornerstone. So that's the one thing I didn't forget. Second cash game cornerstone. We talked about it. I think he's going to win at some point in time, and I feel the same way with Cam Young. I'm just going to play those dudes like until they win because it's going to happen sooner than maybe for Cam Young. I think it's going to happen real soon for both these guys, right? You can't have 7 runner-ups, and if he gets 8 or 9 or 10 runner-ups, I mean, it's going to be insane. He's going to win something here soon, so I'm going to play him on DraftKings. I don't necessarily think that this is like. We'll see if this is a good course for him or not. I don't know. We'll see. Because, again, he's a sort of a newer type golfer, but he tends to play well on a wide variety of type of courses. It doesn't have to be a specific subset, and he tends to play well, and it doesn't really matter if it's short or if it's long. He finds a way. Let's go over to this 8K range. Just going down, the first people that caught my eye, probably Tom Kim. He's been playing a little bit. Actually, Mackenzie Hughes is my favorite play in this range. Again, top 20. Last time he played, he's been looking pretty good here recently. He's had a good amount of top finishes in his last like 6 or 7 events. The form is there. He's playing in front of his home country. I think the pressure's off of the Canadians a little bit because of what Nick Taylor did last year. Because the Canadian had not won that for like, I don't know, 70 years or some shit like that, right? It's their national open. And so basically it just put pressure on like every single Canadian, right? Now that monkey is off Canada's back, I think they can play a little bit more freely. It doesn't weigh on their mind as much, total narrative, of course, but that's what we do. And so I think it should be a little bit better, easier for these guys. But I do like Mackenzie Hughes. I like Tom Kim with his accuracy off the tee. If you're going to play an accuracy play, I'd go with Tom. It seems like he's trying to turn the corner and start doing an uptrend. It's like he's almost there, but like one round, a couple of bad shots have sort of, kept them from really going up. But I think it's going to happen soon.
Kenny, I think you're spot on with Tom Kim. I love this course fit for him. I think you can't go wrong with him. And you know what? The funny thing is, Kenny, we've got 5 Canadians sitting inside the $7,600 and up mark. So it's not like the pressure's off because also you've got 4 other guys that are really good. Taylor Penrith is $7,600. He just won on the PGA Tour this year. Like the 4 other guys are ahead of him. So I think there's a good chance a Canadian wins this week. I think that floodgates could be open because they won it last year, and now it's Taylor Penrith, Nick Taylor, Mackenzie Hughes, Adam Hadwin, Corey Connors. They're 5 really good golfers, It
reminds me of what happened with Korean golf. Like you get like a couple of guys, they win, and then like it just seems like it breeds more confidence for the people of that country. Like Sung Jae goes out there, wins the Honda in 2019. You know what I'm saying? You just see Siwoo wins the Players in 2016. You go back to that win with Siwoo, and it sort of broke open everything for the Korean golfers because after that, prior to that, it was just KJ and YE, and YE had that one, fluke win at the PGA Championship. KJ was a more steady golfer. He won the Players as well. But, this new crop, that's how they started watching these young guys. But then, after Siwoo came in, you've seen like this growth. And I guess you could sort of go with Mike Weir. When Mike Weir came in afterwards, you've seen a growth in this Canadian golfers, and they're really strong contingent. I mean, I think you could see like 9 Koreans and Canadians on that President's Cup team. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and South Africans.
Would South Africa make it?
It's going to be Bezzy. It's going to be EVR.
Okay.
That's call it 2 more at least, easy.
When we got Day and Scott, and stuff like that.
Adam Scott,
and Minwoo is I will count as Korean.
Yes,
because he's Korean. Like I'm Korean. You know what I'm saying? He's Korean.
Sure,
I'm Korean. So I count Minwoo as Korean. Anyways, what were we at? We're on.
Just speaking about Canadians, I was liking them in this range in the 8Ks. I will be sprinkling them in. Like I said, I bet them all top 5s, top 10s. I think I like these 4 in the 8s and the 7s more than I like Corey. So that's where I'll be leaning for sure. Akshay Bhatia at a golf course like this is very, very enticing to me as well.
He even played so bad recently, though.
Yeah.
I've thought about him. He's ranked highly in my model. You can look past his form.
It's been these 1 or 2. I mean, it was the Masters right after winning, and then you've got.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's exactly too much shit going on in his life.
Right. Well, I mean, when you're 21 years old and you get a shit ton of money, you win an event. I mean, it's not. It's like pretty normal for them to like go on like a little bit of a skid, right? Just because they got their W, they secured their card. When you get comfortable, when you get complacent in any part of your life, you tend to not put in as much as you did until, something jumpstarts you and you go back to the way you were. It happens in work. It happens in relationships. It happens in everything, right? And so, of course, it's going to happen in golf. When a guy of that age, that young, goes out there and wins an event, secures his tour card for the next 2.5 years, makes $1.8 million. I'm going to chill for a little bit, right?
It's going to change. You're
probably going to chill for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, like a 30-year-old golfer who been digging and grinding and doing their thing and finally gets that W, I think it's different. I think they're like, well, shit, this is what I should have been doing. I need to keep doing what I do and keep stacking up these chips, keep stacking up these fucking wins because they know how hard it is. For a young guy, he's 21, 22 years old. I should be doing this shit all the fucking time, right? I'm good as shit, right? That's just the way youth and experience is different when it comes down to it. All right, so 7K range. I like Hubbard and Cash. He's not one of my cash game cornerstones, but hint, hint, I like him in cash. You know what I'm saying? Guys, I think he leads the tour on cuts made. Like, I'm going, again, I'm not sure. Like, we're both sort of different ideas on how this course is going to play. I don't think it's going to be, like, exceptionally difficult, but I don't see, like, 5 guys over, like, 17 under. You know what I'm saying? I think the winning, me personally, I think, so that's why this is great. We're going to have differences of the way we go about things this week. And I totally lost my train of thought.
Hubbard, 7K guys, Hubbard. Yeah, making cuts.
It's making cuts. So, like, cash, I'm really thinking, like, a lot of times it's upside, right? This week I'm going with a lot of cut makers because, again, the field is shitty, right? And so these cut makers who make a shit ton of cuts in a row should have a higher chance of making the cut because they are playing in a field with shittier golfers. It just makes sense, right? Just fucking makes sense. It should. Well, watch it not happen. Hubbard will miss the cut.
Yeah.
I see Campbell's made like 12 cuts in a row. He'll miss the cut. Anyways, so I like Hubbard and Cash. The 7K range is not great for me. I wasn't the biggest fan of a lot of dudes. Just looking at it right now, Svenny's going to be my third cash game cornerstone. Adam Svensson. The thing about Svensson is his ball striking in his last 12 rounds, I talked about this earlier, has been like elite. Like elite. Like if you look over it, he's been gaining he gained like 1.8 on apps last time, 1.4 off the tee. He's gained something like, if I can do this addition right, over 15 strokes tee to green in his last 12 rounds.
Yep.
In his last 12 rounds, the guy is striking the ball extremely well, driving the ball extremely well, iron game extremely strong. His the thing is, like, his short game hasn't been great, but when he loses strokes, he loses like 0.2, 0.3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not going there and losing like 4.5 strokes around the greens and shit like that, like a lot of these shitty ass fucking chippers do, right? So I like Svensson a lot. Third cash game cornerstone for me. I'll play Pendrith again. if it is a birdie fest, he can go in that direction. He'll be great in that route. He hits the ball far enough where pretty long, just par 4 scoring. He is strong. So I do like Taylor Pendrith. Who else do I have? Seaweed Doug Gim. Again, iron game good. Tee to green solid. Top 20 in strokes gained off the tee in this field in the last 20 rounds. Really good at par 4s. Really good from 125 to 150. You're going to see a lot of approaches from 125 to 175. Who do you like in this? Oh, and the Irishman, Seamus Power, down here at $7,200. He showed some shit, a little bit of flash over at the Wells Fargo. Proven winner. You can go ahead and get him cheap. So, yeah, give me a little bit of power here.
Kenny, your hungover preparation is, I must be hungover too. I guess we both woke up this afternoon, by the way. But Taylor Pendrith, love him. Doug Gim, love him. Seamus Power, love him. I'll be mentioning all of those guys. Who I won't be playing is Nikolai Højgaard. I think he's just not translating very well to the PGA Tour right now. But other names in the bottom of this range here are going to be Rio Hitsutsuni and Thorbjorn Olesen. 2 DP World Tour guys that haven't really been doing their thing. But I think maybe moving to Canada, maybe that's a bit more DP World Tour-y for them. So maybe they can figure their stuff out. We'll see what the ownership looks like. In the sixes, though, I've got some names. CT Pan, Ben Silverman, Andrew Novak. Those 3 guys are very enticing to me. CT in particular, he's boom or bust kind of a dude. I love the iron proximities for him this week in particular. So he's not the longest guy ever, but he's kind of accurate. So Ben Silverman, a Canadian, played quite nicely the last few times he's been out on the PGA Tour. So I had a really nice lineup with Andrew Novak that went 5 for 6 because of him, and it cashed this week. So he needs to get his shit together. Redemption season for him for sure. So
Davis Thompson last week cost me from like a humongous week.
Dude, that's just the word. It's like one guy just completely just bones you every single time.
Because I had him 30%. I liked him a lot. And he was in some lineups where I finished in like the top 500, 5 or 6.
With 5 or 6. That's insane.
I think I had like 4 lineups in the top 500. And I think 2 of them had Davis Thompson in it.
Jesus Christ.
And the other two were 6 of 6. That one that finished in 19th place and another finished 109th. In the $5, and that's like 75,000 entries. So
yes,
pretty good week.
That's why like those GPPs are so hard to win, man.
It basically would have won like every single entry.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
But I mean, people who say that, I'm like, I don't even pay attention to them because like, I'm making 50 lineups and I'm doing a lineup generator. How do I pick the right one?
The right one
to be put into that. I mean, like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's more of a lottery then. It's like doubling your lottery pick because that's what I'm doing GPPs for, just to win the lottery. Yeah. That's all. That's why I play cash to keep going every week. Anyways, Sam Stevens, $6,900 driving. I think he's going to be one of those guys who takes this course and uses the driver. Is aggressive. I feel like that's the way he should play this course. Hopefully he does, because I'm going to roster the fuck out of him because his iron play, top 20 in both 125 to 150, 150 to 175, long off the tee. Give me some Sammy Stevens at $6,900. My final cash game cornerstone is going to be S.H. Kim. Again, we are going with cut makers down here. I think he's 4th in cuts made in a row. Like he's made like 11 cuts in a row. Like back, he's just going out there and just getting his paycheck every fucking week, doing his thing, being a true Korean, earning that money hard way. Just going out, going to work every week, not fucking up, getting it done. He does have the thing about him is his putting, like you said, his putting and his birdie prowess. And the thing about his putter is it's usually strong like all the time, and he makes a shit ton of birdies. So I do like him. He's just steady doing his thing. The Korean Jim Furyk. I don't give a fuck. And Jim won this event in 2003, right? Jim won this shit in 2003. So give me S.H. Jim Furyk Kim. As my final cash game cornerstone. So my cash game cornerstones for the week are going to be Rory at 12,100. Norin, I'm stacking up top with my number 1 and my number 2 guys in my model. That's how I'm going to go with it. Those are the guys that I want to bring this lineup home, right? And it will give me hopefully the upside enough where if one of my guys does miss the cut, I can still push through. And then I like Svenning, 7,300. And then I like S.H. Kim 6,800 this week. So those are going to be my 4 cash game cornerstones. other 6K golfers that I like. Bud Cauley, he doesn't play that much anymore, right? So when you look at his stats in the model, you have to be careful, because they look like he's fucking amazing, right? But he just doesn't play as much. He's on like sponsors, whatever, exemptions. But I do think this type of course can suit him if he can play the way that like I just lost my train of thought. Where'd Bud go? So if you can get him like where it could be like a Furyk type deal, right? Just hit a shit ton of fairways, get your irons in there, make your putts. He seems like he could be like that type of good guy as long as the putter goes into it. That is going to be the worst part of his game. But, very accurate. Iron game, very, very strong, at least back in the day. Let's see if he can bring that back for this, even though I don't know, is he playing on the Corn Ferry Tour? Would be my guess. Did he get a sponsorship exemption this week? I don't know. Where's he at? Or is he like in like the 175 and in no man's land? I have no idea. But I'm gonna play him. I'm gonna play a little bit of Sammy Ryder down here. I get good iron play. Above average iron play, really good from 150 to 175. Can putt his ass off. And I'm going Gary Woodland down here again. Shorter course like last week, and you saw he had the success. We talked about that last week, where even though he's a longer hitter of the golf ball, he can sort of do these things on these smaller tracks. And I think a win or a really good finish is going to happen for him real soon. So I like Gary.
Hell yes, Kenny. Gary, if you think about, he won the US Open at Pebble Beach.
Yep.
That's a shorter layup kind of a venue. So I've got some 5K names that are going to be exactly what we've been speaking about. They're the most accurate guys in this range. Hayden Buckley, $5,500. Chad Ramey. A lot of guys that you fancied at Colonial last week that are playing this week again, that were good, accurate drivers, you can potentially roll out again, right? So Chad Ramey, Hayden Buckley, Aaron Badley. He's a short hitter, but very tidy around the greens, very good in that department. Joel Dane,
he has some spiked rounds this year.
And he's a very good putter.
You'd see him like on top of a leaderboard for like one day, like a couple times this year.
At shorter golf courses where he can chip and putt his way around, kind of do his thing. Joel Damon, one of the most accurate drivers of the golf ball, playing better golf now. He's actually he's $5,800 and making cuts quite regularly now. Ryan Moore, Chandler Phillips, guys that I was playing last week. These are guys I'm going to be going back to again. These are the exact same profile options that give you these cheaper, pretty solid situation. Like Chandler Phillips is top 20 in approach play, and he's $5,900.
Caught my eye.
Yeah,
definitely.
So those are some nice options if you're looking to play some Rory McIlroy in your lineups, along with Kenny Kim's Alex Noren 9.9K option there. So yeah, that's where I'm leaning. Some nice. I figured we were going to get a 6K floor this week with Rory in the field at like 11.3, but they made him 12.1 and gave us 5Ks. I love the slates with the 5K options for some reason, Kenny.
Where's Matt the Knife Meisner? I don't see him anywhere. What's his price?
He is $6,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I was looking in the 5,000 range because that's where he normally is.
Yeah.
I'm playing. That's another guy that I'm going to play. We talked about him earlier on the betting card. I just didn't want to miss him. Now I'm going down in this 5K range. I'm going to play Cam Champ. I'm going to see if he can do what Rory did down here. You take a risk. $5,700. You've seen him. I think it was back in the fall earlier in this year. He had a couple of good tournaments back there. He's such a good driver of the golf ball, and he hits it so far that at $5,700, I will take the risk, and he hits more fairways than usual. And if he can do that, he can do something. He can do something.
Yeah. And you're going to be playing him in the $75,000 person contest, right?
Yes.
Where you're going to be playing.
And then I'll have him at like 10%. Like last week, I had 10% of Riley, right?
Yeah.
And he was in all. I played 40 lineups. He was in 4. Those 4 lineups were the ones that were in the top 500, right? I mean, so
that's what you need.
Yeah. So I mean, when you come down here into this 5K range and you come down here into the 6K range, if you see like any hint of life, especially the 5K range nowadays that we have it, like if you see any, like whatever research you're doing, right? If you see some type of hope for Riley last year, it was his runner-up. For last week, it was his runner-up at that course, right? And he's like 5,500. Like, sure, fuck it. I see something there. There's something. For like 80% of the people in the 5K race, there's nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
There's nothing, right? And that's why it's hard when those guys do well, because it happens sometimes, right? But like if you can see something, like I know it is, so that's why I liked Riley last week. I saw something and it was cheap. And so when you see like a little something, I'm going Kelly Craft, at fucking 5,700 last time it was out. Nice little top 25 at the Byron Nelson Classic. It showed life, showed me a little something, right? And then, like, the thing is, his stats overall throughout his career should do well on this course. Also,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you take the account that he did well last time. He was out. A different course. Of course, Byron Nelson was long and easy. I don't think it's going to play that easy. But just looking at his numbers throughout his career, it looks like this is like what he should be all right. You know what I'm saying? Is the best part of his iron game throughout his, last couple of years of playing is from 125 to 175. Those are his best ranges. You find something like that when you're basically sometimes making up your own narratives when it comes to doing it. I know it sounds silly, but like that's the only way you can get any confidence in playing these type of guys, right?
There's a reason these dudes are this price.
Yeah. Because like when you go down this low, you're like holding your nose, like I don't want to play these guys.
Yeah.
But like your lineup generator won't allow you to make lineups if you don't, right?
Yeah.
You got to be able to pick a certain amount. So when you're digging down into this 5K range, you just got to make sure, like when you're doing your research, you got to find just a little bit of hope, a little ray of something from these guys, and just run with it. Run with it. It's not like I'm going to play these guys like 30, 40, 50%. Give me 10%. I would play 4 Riley lineups last week, and it was, the best week I've had this year in DFS.
Love it. Love it.
Right? I forget. Well, I think you got any 5K? Did you go over 5K? I don't even remember. My memory is like I'm losing.
I jumped on some Buckley, Ramey, Badley,
Buckley, yes,
Damon,
Buckley.
All of those guys. So Ryan Moore, Phillips.
All right. Anything else before we head out?
No, baby. Let's have a great rest of our Memorial weekend, and let's crush it in Canada. I'll have Pat on my show for my 100th Back 9 Bets show.
Oh, nice.
It's episode 100 of that show, and I've done it 99 of them on my own on that show. So my 100th show, I've come from my garage. I'm going to have the Pat Mayo on my 100th show as my celebration. So I'm really excited for
But I mean, I don't think Pat would like a 6-hour show, so it's probably not going to be that, right?
No, it's not going to be I did my 3.5 hours last night already, so we're good there. But yeah, breaking 100. I'll have all of these bets strapped out nicely for you guys there. You can see my entire card at X for the Model Maniac. So that's where you can find it for Road to Ball over there. And then be sure to catch me and Pat for back 9 bets at 8 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday night.
Find me on X at KendoVT. Find my article every week on dubscorner.com. And it's possible that my cash game cornerstones change this week because, again, like 30 minutes of research. But so it's possible that if I dig a little bit more, they could change. Normally, I would just post that on the Gups Corner. But since I know it might happen, I might post that on my Twitter feed, on my X feed. So make sure you check that out. But use promo code Kenny. Save yourself 30% on a membership to Gups Corner. Gups has been fucking killing it over there. He's won like 5 figures in basketball and showdown in the last week for golf. So he is crushing it with his tools, all that shit. So make sure you go over to gupscorner.com, get yourself a membership, use promo code Kenny. All right, so that's it for this week. If I don't see you next week because I die from seeing clearly, I love you guys. Let's have a great week. Let's win some motherfucking money. DJ Nation.